in the Waco area. We're now joined by Blake Blackmar, former Baylor Offensive Lineman, cook extraordinaire aficionado, who joins us for a couple of reasons. One, the letter winners have their coaches get together, get to know each other tomorrow night. That's private. And then there's the barbecue competition and judging on Saturday. Blake, thanks for your time. This thing's starting to build a little momentum over the years now.
Oh, heck yeah. We've got a couple more people competing this year, which is a big ask because you're really, A, you have to have a pit that you can get to McLean, and B, you've got to be out there all night cooking, which some people might not see as fun, but a lot of us do. And then we're also getting buy-in from Coach Aranda and the football program, other alumni. We're getting more events and vendors set up. So I think we keep this thing going, and it's going to be a blast this year. In a couple of years, we're going to have a good number of people coming out to the BU Spring Games and enjoying it and make it a real kind of game day tailgate atmosphere.
All right, Blake, so what's the menu for you?
Okay, so this year we've switched it up from last year. We're still doing brisket because I'll die on that hill. A barbecue competition in Texas has to have brisket. Brisket ribs. Instead of chicken this year, we're doing chicken wings specifically because, hey, that was a request coming from some previous judges. Hey, the chicken was good, but let's see what y'all can do on the wings. And then instead of steak this year, we're doing more of a people's choice tailgater best tailgate dish. So that could be anything from, like queso, buffalo chicken dip, to sliders or burgers, whatever. So for me personally, I'm bringing my classic Texas style salt and pepper brisket, which I'm pretty proud of, pretty excited about. The ribs, I haven't decided on my final flavor profile, but it's going to be St. Louis cut. Going to be definitely more of a Texas style rib, heavy salt and pepper. I'm going to be using some favorite sweet heat on there as well because that's my go-to rib rub. I haven't decided on my sauce combo, but it's going to be light on sauce, that's for sure. Chicken wings, that's the big shakeup. I've been playing with, because I do a really good, just classic smoked buffalo chicken wing. It's easy for tailgates, easy for parties, but I don't want to be too basic. And I know at least one other team is going to do a smoked fried wing. So I'm looking at potentially what I want to do there. I might do buffalo. I might change it up. I've been playing with like a Korean style barbecue sauce that I like a lot. I just don't know if it'll be too different. Don't know how the judges will like it. Can't ever go wrong with like garlic parmesan or something along those lines. So, and I've been doing some product testing on that as well. So I might be looking a little beefier than y'all last time I saw you guys.
Blake, if you could kind of take us through just how this all got started. I mean, clearly you dove right into the cooking and barbecuing and all that kind of deal, and you're on with us a bunch, and then next thing you know, there's now this alumni deal, and just kind of take us into that, and also describe sort of the camaraderie that's been built as a result. I mean, of having the ties not only of just Baylor, but also having the barbecue, the grilling side of this kind of coming together for people as well.
Yeah, so it's pretty. I'm pretty open about how I've definitely replaced the hole that football left in my life from a time perspective and like a craft and a passion to devote yourself to with food. And man, I love it. And kind of doing the tailgating thing, bouncing around, doing some other stuff. I started hearing whisperings that there was another Baylor football alumni talking about a potential barbecue competition or wanting to do something to get some of the older guys, the older generation of players back into around campus. And Robin Jones and I got connected, and this was really Robin's idea, and I was just like, hey, barbecue in Baylor, I'm in. I'd love to be a part of it. Got connected with some alumni organizations, and last year, it was a smaller event. We had like 8 teams, but Coach Aranda came out, and we had a good prize pool, and more people came and checked us out as they were walking up, checking out the stadium, and it was so much fun. The Friday night before, hanging out with a bunch of guys that played in the 90s and early 2000s and swapping stories and just talking about life. It became such a big it was a big party, big camaraderie deal, and it was so cool to connect with the football alumni base. And so this year we got to go rolling again. We had more support buy-in from football. They love it. It fits hand in hand with Coach Aranda's kind of his mission to try to bring a lot of former players back into the fold at Baylor, because there's been some coaching changes and they've happened all in this past decade or so. And there's a lot of guys that played in those realms that don't know any of the existing coaching staff, so they may not feel comfortable coming back. And we're just trying to basically have this go hand in hand with, hey, let's get fans, let's get former players here, let's get as many people to come to this event as possible. Last year we had a couple of players' parents stop by, and it was fantastic to talk to them, but also to have them talk about, man, I want my son to come to stuff like this. I want my son to come meet you guys so that we can talk about life after football, get connected within the Baylor community for potentially finding a job or whatever, right? There's so much good networking that goes along with it. And when you're talking barbecue and spring football in Texas, it's a good time.
Blake, you also had a couple of things show up on your front porch today. Is that correct? From Texas Beef House, which is our latest sponsor, newest sponsor?
I did. That was pretty much the nicest thing that showed up on my doorstep in a long time. Was a couple of Wagyu briskets, and I'm talking about fresh, still frozen, and I got one defrosted right now. It'll probably be what I turn in for the barbecue competition, because I was looking at the marbling on it compared to the one I have from HEB, and I was like, I don't know, this is pretty impressive. So my first go around with them might be this barbecue competition, and I feel pretty confident that we'll be able to put out some really good results.
So Blake, I just got to ask, who's judging this, and can you trust their expertise? Like, say someone that might be asking this question right now.
So we wanted to focus on getting like former players and other prominent people within the Baylor sphere to judge. And so this year we have the full list is on the website link, but from a football perspective, we have Clay Johnson, Connor Galvin, Grant Miller, Mo Porter, an O-lineman from my class, who has been, I don't think he judged last year, and he was hurt. He was upset, emotional about it. So I made sure that to get him in this year. And we also have the dean of the business school and a couple other prominent Baylor figures. And I championed for you guys this year, but there's this whole, everything we have to deal with is like, it's complicated with like the licensing and who, what kind of businesses can be on the venue, since it is Baylor property. Well, there's all that stuff that I'm trying to navigate, because that was fun. But this year we should have some pretty fun judges, and everyone, at least I made sure to pick a couple of football guys that I know can eat. So we should be okay.
Smart decision.
So, Blake, it's actually fitting. I didn't know we were having you on today. And last night I just happened to be listening to this random podcast with Dave Grohl talking about how he fell in love with barbecuing. And it's like he's just talking about it so excitedly for like an hour. And one of the things I found interesting was him talking about all his toys that he's accumulated in his rig and how he's upgraded over time. So that leads me to ask this. What are you working with? And how has that kind of changed over time as you've learned more and learned what you like and do all that? What kind of toys are you working with nowadays?
Yeah, I've got so currently I have my 150-gallon propane smoker on a trailer. It's got a charcoal grill on the backside, offset, fully insulated firebox. And that's my baby. That's what I cook all the tailgates, cook on for all the tailgates. And that'll be what I'm cooking on tomorrow. I am trying to figure out and save enough money to upgrade from that to just a bigger version of it. I love that pit, and I would really just want to get like a 250 or even a 330 or a 500 version of that, because for cooking the tailgates for Sic'Em 365 and everything, I would just love to be able to have the capacity to cook more than 5 to 6 briskets. I've also got a PK charcoal grill, which is That's what I won the state competition on last year, and I'll probably bring that just as a backup. Maybe if I need to grill off some wings or something. And I have here at the house, I have another offset that's smaller. It's in my backyard. I have a pizza oven. I have a drum smoker. I have an egg that I mostly just use for grilling. If I have a flat top. There might be one more in there but my wife's getting mad at me. She said I have to start getting rid of them if I get any more.
Blake, it's great to have you. One quick question. Obviously, the game's on Saturday. The offensive line last year had a lot of experience back, and it just never seemed to click. Your thoughts about what you saw and what – I know you haven't been to a practice because they're not open. I don't know. I guess you could probably go because you're an alum. But just what
I'm actually going to practice on Friday before the competition.
Okay.
Check out the walkthrough, see some guys, shake some hands. But, yeah, last year I was in the camp of, hey, these guys are going to figure it out. And I think in general it was really just a lot of kind of it just never seemed to click on the offensive line, but also for the offense as a whole. And I think a lot of that probably stems from, I don't know if it's like the expectations, because you want those expectations on the offensive line that you're going to lead the way, that you're going to be elite. And I don't know exactly, where the disconnect was, but I think part of it was probably guys having one more year of film on everyone and in the wide zone scheme and everything, having some things to because it never looked like any one guy was necessarily having a terrible game or getting blown up. It just never seemed to be all five guys in the unit on the same page 95% of the time, and all those players are really talented. All of them are, you're able to swap in and out, but I think it's just the more years you get guys in that wide zone system, seeing the Big 12 defenses facing the 3-3 stacks and doing things like that, the more I think you're going to be able to handle what they throw at you. You got a quarterback with another year under his belt. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of advanced like checks and options out of different plays and calls. So I would expect a good bounce back year from the offensive line. And even though the expectations were high, last year's offensive line was still pretty good. And so if that's a down year, I'd be pretty happy if that's how the offensive line performs in a down year. But we definitely want to get back to seeing the road graders up front, making holes, running for 200 yards a game, and just pounding the life out of people.
Blake, you mentioned Aranda being around for the event last year. Just what have you kind of been able to gather from him when you've been around him? What have been your thoughts now as he's entering year 4 here in Waco?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say enough good things about him. The guy is very personable when you talk to him, very welcoming of former players, very smart and intelligent. I never get the feeling that even when you're talking to him post-practice or something, he always seems very engaged and like he almost seems like he's looking to learn or get your opinion on things when, I'm really just happy to be there. Happy to be welcomed back, and just all I have is good things to say about the team and what he's doing. From watching the product on the field, I think he handles things with class. I mean, the whole Gary and Blake Chapin situation last year, I think that speaks more than anything about the type of character you're talking about. And I think that probably he was getting a whole lot of praise for situations like that, and then the season didn't necessarily go how a lot of people expected. And then at the end of the season, he basically said, yeah, I think we were being a little too nice to people and being, on the team and being a little too, coddled or whatever. And he definitely has the ability and the staff to be, hard-nosed, nose to the grindstone, hold people accountable. And that's what they're going to do this year. I really enjoy my time with them. I enjoy watching the team, and I feel that we're in pretty good hands.
Blake, can't wait to see you this weekend. Thank you very much. Good luck with the competition. Enjoy that gathering tomorrow night. I know that's become special for the new coaching staff or the current coaching staff and the alums and letter winners as well. We appreciate your time. Represent us.
Heck yeah, good talk.
Blake Blackmar, former Baylor offensive lineman with us they have a big get-together that's